Stanford. We know that the success that David Shaw has had in the aftermath of Jim Harbaugh building the program there at Stanford, and we usually have to scale down the internet page to find Stanford listed in the top 35 or 40 in the country. But this Stanford class, despite only having 12 firm commits right now, is in that top 15 to 20 range, Nick.
Yeah, I think the story for Stanford there is elite players coming in, but not particularly deep. They're not going to have the full 25, but they've got two of the three best offensive tackles in the nation are headed to Stanford. The best pro-style quarterback in this class headed to Stanford. One of the 15 best running backs headed to Stanford. One of the top tight end, according to most services, committed to Stanford. So they've got 12 guys, all of them pretty good. And the nice thing about Stanford is, at least when you're covering them, is there's not a lot of drama because it takes so long to get them through the admissions process at Stanford, which right now is about as selective as, say, Yale or Princeton. So there's plenty of opportunities for these kids to bail. Just be like, you know what, I'm not taking the SAT for a fifth time. I'm just going to go play somewhere else. So if they're still verbally committed a week out, a last-second visit from somebody at Texas is probably not going to flip them. So these 12 are probably pretty solid. They might get one or two late additions in the next week, but what they've got now, they've got a solid group of 12 kids coming in, but not a lot of depth. That's always going to be a concern. If the injury bug hits, you can't really it's hard to keep up depth-wise if you're only bringing in 12 guys. So that's a concern. But the guys they have are among the best in the nation at their various positions. So that part is exciting. If they can keep them healthy, Stanford could be really tough to beat in the years to come. But it's this class just screams David Shaw. It's just all in the box, running backs, tight ends, offensive tackles. It's classic David Shaw, win the box, and everything else will sort itself out. So typical, slow and steady, nothing too extreme, nothing crazy, but elite. And that's the whole thing just screams David Shaw. And so it's pretty exciting, but the depth is going to be a concern.
So they'll get those offensive linemen into camp, and they'll teach them to line up their shoes right next to each other with those offensive line splits so that they can plow ahead with a fullback. And that's Stanford football. Northwestern, Duke, Vanderbilt, it's fairly amazing what they're able to do on the football field with the high academic standards, but Stanford is certainly the king of the crop when it comes to presenting themselves on the football field and winning Pac-12 championships in recent years and coming back from a slow start to go 10-3 this season. Join Nick Dempsey on Conquest Chronicles with USC football, Rule of Tree for Stanford, and right here on Mark Rogers TV every Wednesday night talking USC football. Nick, we always appreciate the time.
Of course, Mark, anytime.